dear viewers, my name is Dr. Mohmad Pandit, Assistant Professor at the English Department, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today in this video lecture, I would like to deliberate on tenses. But here, I want to make it clear, this is my second video on tenses. In the first video, we have done tenses, main tenses, its introduction, and then the simple present tense, definition of simple present tense. Then we have done the structures and then usage. In a similar fashion, we have done the present continuous tense, then present perfect tense, present continuous tense. We have done the simple present, present continuous. And in this lecture, I would like to deliberate on present perfect tense and then present perfect continuous tense and the rest of the tenses. But before that, I would like to recapitulate the previous lecture so that you can follow the whole lecture, so that you will be in a position to connect the dots. Here, I will I would like to recapitulate the whole tenses. If you look at the word tenses, English word tenses, it's derived from a Latin word tempus, which means time. Therefore, we can say that the tenses means time. As I told you that it's derived from a Latin word tempus, which means time. But when we talk about time, it's the serial time, not the psychological time, or what we call la durée given by Bergson. Here we are talking about the serial time that moves serially. For example, if it is 1, it's followed by 2, 3, and so on. Here we are talking about the serial time. And when it comes to time, we have the 3 main divisions of the time. That's the present time, past time, and the future time. You can also say present tense, because tense means time. Yes, we have 3 divisions. One is the present tense, second is the past tense, and the third is the future tense. If you look at these 3 sentences here, we have I write a letter, I wrote a letter, I will write a letter. In all the 3 sentences, we have common subject, that's I, and common object, that's a letter. The only thing that's different is verbs. In the first sentence, there's a verb in first form, write. In the second, it's the verb in second form, that's wrote. And in the third one, it's the will plus write. That means helping verb plus main verb in first form, that's right. Therefore, in the first sentence, write, it tells us about the present time. And in the second sentence, word or the verb wrote, it tells us about the past time. And in the third sentence, it's the will helping verb plus verb in first form, that's right. It shows us future time. Therefore, we can say that it's the verb actually that shows the time of an action. Rest we have 2 other words like subject and object, I and a letter. Both the subject and the letter, they don't show time of an action. They have nothing to do with time of an action. In fact, it's the verb that shows time of an action. That's why we often say that this is the most important word in a sentence. As you know that this verb, it's again derived from a Latin word verbum, which means a word. But when we say a word, it means the most important word in a sentence. Now, the next one, as I told you, the tense, it shows, in fact, it provides clarity and context in our communication process or in our communication, day-to-day conversation or communication. It provides the clarity and at the same time, it provides the context. And now we have the different types of the tenses. Yes, as I told you that the tenses means the time, and this time is divided into 3 main divisions, that is present time, past time, and the future time. and each one is further divided into 4 tenses. And in this way, in total, we have 12 tenses. Present tense, it is further divided into 4 tenses. The first one is the simple present, and then we have present continuous, present perfect, and the last one is present perfect continuous tense. In a similar fashion, past tense is further divided into 4 types or 4 kinds. Like, for example, the first one is simple past, then we have the past continuous, past perfect, and the past perfect continuous. In a similar manner, we have the future tense. Future tense has further 4 divisions. The first one is simple future, then we have the future continuous, future perfect, and future perfect continuous. As in the previous lecture, we have done the simple present, and we have done the present continuous also. Here we will take the 2 rest of this tenses, that means the present perfect continuous tense, and the rest of the tenses. But before coming to the present perfect, I would like to recapitulate the previous one, that is the simple present and present continuous. And simple present, what's the definition of simple present and why we call it simple present? Or there's another way of saying the same thing, like what is simple in simple present tense? Why we call it simple present tense? Remember, when a tense is used to show present time or present tense, it's known as simple present tense. And here nothing is said about the completeness or incompleteness of action. That's why we call it simple. Simple means simply we know only one thing, that is time of an action is present. And rest we don't know. We don't know whether the action is continuous in present, whether it has just been completed. We don't know anything. We know only one thing, that is time of an action is present. That's why we call it simple. Simple means simply we know only one thing, that's time of an action is present. And nothing is said about the completeness or incompleteness of action. We don't know whether the action is continuous in present, whether it has just been completed. We don't know anything about these things. We know only one thing, that is time of an action is present. That's why we call it simple present. And in simple present, we have the main structure, that's subject plus verb in first form plus other words. That's the main structure. And here, how we make questions, we make it with helping verbs like do, does, plus subject, plus verb in first form, plus other words. And how we make negative, it's like this, subject plus do, does, plus verb in first form, plus other words. But here, one thing you need to keep in mind, that we use s, is, or is with the main verb if the subject is in third person singular. For example, if subject is he, she, it, or any noun or any singular noun, we have to add s or is or is to the main verbs. And we have done these things. We have this present, simple present or present indefinite. It has different usage. For example, the first one, it's used to express habitual actions. And what's the habit? Habit means the repetition of the same action. When we perform same action repeatedly. Here, for example, I get up early every day. Here the get up, it's verb in first form. Now the second one, the John brushes his teeth twice a day. Again, here it's a habitual action. But remember, here you need to see indicators. Indicators mean the words that tells us that the action is about habit. For example, in the first sentence we have every day. It's an indicator. It shows me that the action is performed on a regular basis. And the second one, again, twice a day. It's an indicator. And the third one, he plays chess occasionally. And the next one, Emma watches cartoons once a week. In all these sentences, we have some indicators, and it's these indicators that tells us that the action is performed repeatedly. And one more thing, if you look at these sentences, we have in the first sentence, we have the first person singular as a subject. That's why there's no need to add s, es or is to the main verb. In the second one, we have the third person singular. As I told you that if the subject is third person singular, you have to add s, es or is to the main verb. With the rest of the pronouns, for example, first person singular, first person plural, second person singular plural, second person plural, or second person both in fact, and third person plural, we don't add s or es. And the next one, we use this simple present to express a universal truth. For example, the sun rises in the east. It's a universal truth or universal fact. That means the fact that's acknowledged by the whole world. And then the next one is this, we use simple present to express the future if that future action is part of fixed timetable or fixed program. Remember, this is very important to understand. Yes, of course, we can use simple present to express a future action if that future action is part of fixed timetable or fixed program. Like here, tomorrow is Sunday. Here, today it is Saturday. I'm talking about tomorrow, and tomorrow is future. At the same time, I'm talking about Sunday, and Sunday is also future. And still look at the tense, and the tense is simple present. Why I make use of the simple present in order to express a future event or future action? Because this Sunday, it's a part of fixed timetable. We can't alter it. We can't defy it. We can't postpone it. It's something that's part of fixed timetable. That's why we use simple present tense to express future actions. Those future actions which are part of fixed timetable or fixed program. And the next one, the match starts at 7 p.m. Again here, right now it's 10. And I'm talking about the future, that is 7 p.m. But here, I'm talking about a match that's part of fixed timetable. Therefore, I can use simple present in order to express this future action. The match starts again verb in first form. Although I'm talking about 7 p.m. 7 p.m. is future because right now it's 10. The next flight is 9 a.m. tomorrow. Again, I'm talking about the future, but the future that's part of fixed timetable. For example, tomorrow 9 a.m. It's a future, but the tense is present. Or the Prime Minister visits America next Monday. Here again, if it's Monday today, today it's Monday, I'm talking about the next Monday. Surely that's the future. But this section, it's a part of fixed program. Here, I can use simple present to express this future event. And then we use this simple present to express the proverbs. We have done all these things. I'm just recapitulating these things in order to, so that you can connect the dots, so that you can connect this previous lecture with today's. And here we have the next one, the simple present. We use simple present to express proverbs. That means the sayings or the wise statements. Why we use this simple present to express this proverb? Because they are supposed to be true. That's why. Because the simple present, it gives the idea of permanence. Here, a city in time saves 9. Again, here we have the verb saves, this verb in first form. And a city in time, it is third person singular. And make hay while the sun shines. Again, shines, this verb in first form. We can use the simple present tense to express proverbs. Why? Because these proverbs, they are supposed to be true. For example, an open door tempts even a saint. Or for that matter, when old crow crows, little one learns. Here, we have different proverbs, and you will find all the proverbs in simple present tense. And the next one, for example, we use simple present tense to express a continuous action. If that sentence starts with here and there and ends with an exclamatory mark. Remember, if you have exclamatory sentences and those exclamatory sentences start with here and there, we can express any continuous event or action in simple present tense, like here. Here she comes. She, this is third person singular, and comes, this is verb in first form. If you look at this sentence, at the time of speaking, action is going on, action is in progress, it's continuous. Still, I did not use present continuous tense. In fact, I use simple present tense, because the rule is, if you find a sentence starting with here and there and ends with an exclamatory mark, what we do, we use simple present tense instead of present continuous tense. That means present continuous tense is replaced by simple present tense, like here. Here she comes. There she goes. There comes the bus. Here she comes. There she goes. There comes the bus. If you look all these sentences here, at the time of speaking, action is going on. It's continuous. It's happening right now. But still, we don't use simple present tense. In fact, we are supposed to use simple present tense, not present continuous tense. And then we use the simple present tense to show stage directions, like here. Here comes King Lear and his attendant. You walk for 200 meters and then you turn left. Again, this is simple present tense. And one more thing, the most important one, we use this simple present tense to write book reviews. For example, here we have a book, Robin Hood. Robin Hood is a delightful book. The hero is a friend of the poor. He robs the corrupt rich to pay the poor. The story has many events which move fast. The reader is seldom bored. If you look here, we have verbs is, be form of present form. Then again we have is, then we have the robs, then we have has and move. And again is. These are all present forms of verbs. And here I'm talking about a Robin Hood book. Therefore, if you have to write your book review, you should adopt this simple present tense, or you should utilize or employ simple present tense to write a book review. And then we have the instead of simple future tense in clause and time and condition. And what we do, we use this simple present tense in place of future tense in clauses of time and condition. Remember, in clauses of time and condition, we just replace future tense with simple present tense. Although it gives the sense of simple future, but we don't use simple future. In fact, we use simple present tense. Look here. I will wait till you finish your lunch. I will wait here. The first clause, it's in simple future tense. And then we have the second clause, you finish your lunch, it's in simple present. And here we have a till, it's a time clause. If you look at the second clause, that is time clause, you finish your lunch. It gives the sense of future. But we don't use future tense. In fact, the future tense is replaced by present tense. And there's another way of saying the same thing. For example, if you find one clause in simple present clause, another clause must be in simple future. That's why here, I will wait till you finish your lunch. If you look at this, till you finish your lunch, it means that she has not finished it yet. Right now, she's taking her lunch, it's continuous, and she will finish it in future. But in place of future, I have used this simple present tense. Remember, in class of time and condition, we replace simple future tense with simple present tense. Although that simple present tense gives the sense of simple future, but we don't make use of future tense. Second one, if I find a job, I will help you. Now, if you look at the first one, it's the conditional clause, if clause, it's open condition, it's first conditional clause, okay? But here, if I find a job, it's a simple present tense. But in the simple present tense, it gives the sense of future. If I find a job, that means it's something that I will get in future. If I find a job, it means right now, at present, I don't have any job. That's why I'm saying if I find a job, that means if I find a job in future, I will help you. Now look at this. If I find a job, although it gives the sense of future. If I find a job in future, I will help you. If I find a job, that means right now at present, I don't have any job. Okay. Therefore, here, this, we don't write both these clauses in simple future. In fact, one clause must be in simple present. Although that simple present gives the sense of simple future. And the next one, we have done this one also, that's the present continuous tense. And present continuous tense is used to show what's going on or happening or happening now or at the time of speaking. Present continuous tense, it tells us what's going on or happening right now or going on at the time of speaking. For example, she's singing a song. When I say she's singing a song, that means at present, her song is incomplete. That is, right now she's singing. At present, she's singing. These are the different structures. That means subject plus be form of verb plus verb in ing form plus other words. Here we make questions, helping verb questions with the help of is, am, are. And these are the different structures of this present continuous tense. And this present continuous tense, we use this present continuous tense to show temporary action also. That means actions which we have stopped temporarily. For example, here, look at this conversation between John and Lily. John, what are you doing? Lily, I am reading a novel. Now look, when Lily says, I'm reading a novel, at the time of saying these words, she's not actually reading a novel. In fact, she's just giving a reply to John. But temporarily, she has stopped this work in order to give her answer, in order to give her reply. That's why we say that we use this present continuous tense with temporary actions also, or the actions that has temporary nature. For example, there are two sentences. I live in Hyderabad. I'm living in Hyderabad. Here, see the difference. The first tense, it's in simple present, and the second one, I'm living in Hyderabad, it's in present continuous tense. And there's a difference of permanence and something that's temporary. In the first sentence, when I say I live in Hyderabad, it means I was born in Hyderabad, I was brought up in Hyderabad, I'm the permanent resident of Hyderabad. It gives the state or the sense of permanence. Now, if you look at the second one, I'm living in Hyderabad. It gives the sense of temporariness. That means at present, I'm living in Hyderabad. That means I'm living temporary in Hyderabad. That means I'm not a permanent resident of Hyderabad. Now, that's why we use this tense for the temporary actions also. And the next one, we use this tense for future actions. Future actions which are planned. For example, here, I'm going to cinema tonight. And tonight is future. Right now, it's morning. And I'm talking about tonight. Okay? And tonight is, for me, tonight is future. And I'm saying I'm going to cinema tonight. When I say I'm going to the cinema tonight, it's a near future. And at the same time, this action, it's planned. That's why for an action that has already been arranged to take place in the near future, we use this tense for planned actions or for the near future, or you can say the future action, future planned actions. For example, we are visiting Agra this week. Again, Jane is getting married this December. These are all planned actions or arranged actions which will take place in future. That's why we say we use this present continuous tense for an action that has been arranged to take place in near future. And here again, this present continuous tense, we use this present continuous to talk about developing or changing actions like the weather is getting warmer and warmer. In other words, to make it more explicit, to make it more simple, we use this present continuous tense to express any change. For example, in the first sentence, I'm expressing a change that occurs in weather, like the weather is getting warmer and warmer. Here, I'm expressing a change, and that change occurs in weather. And the next one, the road in the city are deteriorating day by day. Again, it's a change that occurs in roads. And the next one, sometimes we use this tense with the obstinate habits or persistent habits with adverbs like constantly, always, continuously, etc. Like here, she's always grumbling. And one more thing, here it's very important to understand. We do use present continuous tense with words of perceptions. In fact, we do not use present continuous tense with words of perception or stative verbs like thinking, understanding, tasting. Look at these two sentences. I am thinking he's wrong. It's an incorrect expression. The right one is I am or I think he is wrong. Here the word thinking, it's a word of perception or the stative verb. And with stative verb, we don't use present continuous tense. In fact, we use simple present tense. That's why if you say I am thinking he is wrong, it's an incorrect sentence. The right one, the right expression is I think he is wrong. The second sentence, these grapes are tasting sour. If you look at the sentence again, it's wrong. And the right form is these grapes taste sour. This is the correct form. These grapes taste sour. Okay, the next one is the present perfect tense. In fact, we have done all these tenses like simple present, present continuous in my first lecture, in my first video lecture. And here, you can consult that video lecture in order to connect the dots so that you can understand it holistically. Like here, we have the present perfect tense. What's this present perfect tense? When a tense is used to show that an action has just been complete or complete in immediate or near past. We use this present perfect tense to express near past or to express actions which have been just complete. Like here, he had just gone out. Here I'm talking about near past. Or Nitin has been recently married. Again, it's a near past. And for example, we have just completed present continuous tense. It's about near past. And the main structure of this tense is subject plus helping verb, that is has, have plus verb in third form plus other words. And how we make negative sentence, it is subject plus has, have plus not plus verb in third form, other words. And how we make questions, helping verbs, that's has, have plus subject plus verb in third form plus other words. And remember, Here we use this present perfect tense to express near past, or to express actions that have been completed in near past. Like here, he had just gone out. That means I'm talking about the near past. Or in other words, as we have done present continuous tense, we can say we have just finished present continuous tense. It's about near past. But here, you need to understand different things of this present perfect. And it's not all about near past. It's not all about the immediate past. In fact, look at the second one. To express past action whose time is not given or definite. We use this present perfect tense to talk about distant past. But the condition is that time should not be given. There should be no mention of time. Then we can use present perfect tense to express distant past. For example, look at this first sentence. Have you read The Tale of Two Cities? I'm talking about the past. Here in this sentence, we don't have the mention of time. Here, therefore, I can use this present perfect tense to express distant past. For example, second one, he has gone to Japan. If you look at this sentence, he has gone to Japan. Again, I'm talking about the distant past. Remember, in the first usage, I told you that we use this present perfect tense to talk about near past. But in the second one, I'm telling you that we can use this present perfect tense to express distant past, but time should not be given. There should be no mention of time. Like here, in two sentences, we don't have any mention of time. Therefore, we can use this present perfect tense to express distant past. And the third one, to describe past events when we think more of the effect in the present. If you look at this sentence, if you look at these examples, here in these examples, I'm talking about a past action whose effect is still felt in present. Yes, these past actions, all these past actions, were completed in the past, but their effect is still felt in present. That's why I told you that we use this present perfect tense to describe past actions or past events when we think more of their effect in the present. Or to make it more simple, to make it more explicit, it means we can use this present perfect tense with past actions whose effect is still felt in the present. For example, she has washed the clothes, and right now her clothes are still wet. And what's the effect? Effect is her clothes are still wet. For example, he has had a bath. When we say he has had a bath, that means at present his hair is still wet. Okay, now the next one, she has watered the garden. When we say she has watered the garden, it is something which she has done in the past. But the effect of that action is still felt in present. And what's that effect? That effect is her clothes are still wet. And the next one, I have cut my finger. It is something which I have done in past, but its effect is still felt in present. And what's that effect? That effect is my finger is still bleeding. settle bleeding. That's why all these actions you will see that something which we have done in the past or an action that has been completed in the past. But the effect of those actions is still felt in present. Like here in the first one, she has washed the clothes. When we say that she has washed the clothes, it means it's something which is done in the past, but its effect is still felt in present. And what's that effect? That effect is her clothes are still wet. And the second one, he has had a bath. When I say he has had a bath, it means it is something which he has done in the past, but its effect is still felt in present. And what's that effect? That effect is his hair is still wet. That means at present his hair is wet. Or for that matter, I have cut my finger. When I say I have cut my finger, it means I cut my finger in past, but its effect is still felt at present or in present. That is, it is still bleeding. Now the next one. We use this present perfect tense with certain expressions like it's the first time, it's the second time, or sixth time, or yet expression. If you find these expressions, we often use this present perfect tense with these expressions like it is the first time, it is the second time, or six times, or for that matter, yet. If it's a yet, we often use present perfect tense with these expressions. Like here, it is the first time I have been to Kashmir. And the second one, it is the first time I have sat on a horse. And the next one, they haven't painted the door yet. Again, we have this yet expression here. And the next one, John has not come home yet. Remember, we often use this present perfect tense with these expressions like it is the first time, it is the second time, or yet expressions. And the next one, we have the present perfect continuous tense. And here, if you look at this term, present perfect continuous tense, three things you need to understand. The first one is the present. Present means the time of an action is present. And the second one is the perfect. When we say the perfect, perfect gives the sense of compulsion. And the next one is the continuous. Continuous means something that's in progress. But it seems very strange. It seems as if there is an oxymoron. Present, the oxymoron here in perfect and continuous. These are the opposite terms. Perfect means the compulsion and the continuous means the which is in progress, which is incomplete. It seems to be there's like an oxymoron. I will explain that oxymoron. First of all, we will see the definition. When a tense is used to show that an action has been started at some point in the past and is still continuous in the present, it's known as present perfect continuous tense. Here we use since and for phrases. Okay, now present perfect continuous tense. Here, as I told you, we need to understand these three things. Time of an action is present. And the second one is the perfect. Perfect means the compulsion. That means a certain duration of an action has been completed. And the third one is the continuous time. That means action is still continuous. Here we will see these through graphs. For example, what is the first one? They have been building this bridge since 2020. If I make a graph, for example, this is 2024. And 2024, it's present time. Now, the next one is 2022, it's the past one. Now, what's this present perfect tense? When an action started at some point in the past and is still continuous in present. That means here in this first sentence, action it has been started in the year 2000. It started in the year 2022. That means the past. And in 23, it was continuous. And now it is 24, it is still continuous. That's why we say when an action started at some point in the past and is still continuous, and is still incomplete, or is still in progress, we call it present perfect continuous tense. Again, I want to write one more example so as to make you understand this one. Now see. What's this present perfect continuous tense? When an action started at some point in the past and is still continuous in the present, we call it present perfect continuous tense. Now the question arises, what is perfect in this tense? What's, as I told you, the perfect means the completion. For example, if I write like this, they have been building this bridge for 12 years. Now, look here. Today it's 2024. They have been building this bridge for 12 years. That means present it's 2024. 2024, if we subtract 12 years, it means 2012. Okay, 2012. It means that the work started in the year 2012. And in 12, it started in 12. In 13, it was continuous, 14, 15, 16, up to 2024. And today it's 2024, still it's in progress, it's incomplete, it's continuous. But some period of time has been complete. And what's that? 12 years. In 2024, although the action is continuous, but some of the period has been complete. And what's that? That's 12 years. That's why we say they have been building this bridge for 12 years. At present, in 2024, I'm saying you that they have been building this bridge for 12 years. It means action started in the year 2012 and is still continuous in 2024. But some period of time has been completed in 2024. And what's that? That's the 12 years. That's why we say the completion. That's why we say the perfect. Again, I just want to recapitulate this present perfect continuous tense. It tells us that that an action has been started at some point in the past and is still continuous. Like here, if I write like this, they have been playing chess for 5 years. 5 hours. And here again, we use this for and since. We use this for and since to express, for example, since. We use the since to show point of time. Point of time. And we use for to show a period of time. When we say the point of time means the exact time. Like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Point of time means exact day, like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Point of time means exact month, like June, July. And the point of time is the exact year, like for example 2013, 2014, 20, etc. And when we show the period of time means not exact time. For example, many hours. Not exact years, like several years. Or not exact months, like several months. When there's no exact time, when there's no exact month, exact day, exact year, we use for. And when there's an exact month, exact year, or exact time, or exact day, we use since. Like here, if I write like this, he has been writing a novel since 2020. Since 2020. And here the 2020 is exact year. That's why we use since. If I write the same sentence like this, he has been writing a novel for several years. And here the several years, it's not the exact time. It doesn't show the exact time. That's why we use for. We use since with point of time, that means exact time, and for with period of time, it's not the exact one. And again, before we move to the next tense, I want to recapitulate this tense. This tense, it tells us that something has been, something, or it shows that an action has been started at some point in the past and is still continuous in the present. And the next one, we have this simple past. Simple past is used to indicate an action completed in the past. It often occurs with adverbs of past time. And the simple past, why we call it simple past? Simple past because here we know only one thing, that is action was completed in the past. It has nothing to do with the present. And here we often use adverbs of past time, like yesterday, last year, a week ago, or 1947. These are all adverbs of past time. That is, these are the words that show past time. Remember, simple past. Simple past is used to indicate an action completed in the past. It often occurs with adverbs of past time. And here the main structures are subject plus verb in second form plus other words. That's the statement, essay to sentence. And how we make the questions? It is did plus subject plus verb in first form plus other words. And how we make negative? And for negative, the structure is subject plus did not plus verb in first form plus other words. Now look at these sentences. Our first sentence is, she left school last year. And this last year, it's an indicator. It's an adverb of past time. If you find a sentence that ends with adverbs of past time like last year, yesterday, a week ago, 1947, or any date, and these adverbs of past time, they are not preceded by since and for. There you have to use subject plus verb in second form. Remember, if a sentence ends with adverbs of past time, and these adverbs of past time, they are not preceded by a since and for. There you have to use subject plus verb in second form. That means simple past tense. Like here, she left. Left, it's the verb in second form. And the steamer sailed yesterday. Again sailed, it's verb in second form. Her father died a week ago. Again, this is verb in second form, sailed. India got independence in 1947. Got, again, it's verb in second form. And remember, when you find a sentence that ends with adverbs of past time, and these adverbs of past time, they are not preceded by any preposition like since and for. There you have to use simple past tense. And one more thing, sometimes these adverbs of past time are not given. Still we use simple past tense. In such conditions, we just see the context. We just try to understand the context. For example, that's why I put a note here. Sometimes this tense is used without adverbs of past time. In such cases, the time may be either implied or indicated by the context. And remember, sometimes we use simple past tense without these adverbs of past time. In such cases, we just see the context. In such cases, the time may be either implied or indicated by the context. Like here, if you look at this sentence, our sentence is Babur defeated Rana Sanga at Kanwa. If you look at this sentence, there's no adverb of past time. There's no mention of date. There's no adverb of past time like in 1832 or like that. No. Here, but we understood the context of the sentence. We know both these characters, that means the Babur and the Rana Sanga, they were historical figures. And this battle, it was fought between these two characters at a place called Kanwa. We know that. We know the context of this sentence. And here the meaning it's implied. We understand that it is something which occurred in the past. That's why we use defeated, and here the defeated its verb in second form. Again, simple past tense. For that matter, if I say like this, here it's A, my student, and here there's a conversation going on between me and my student, and I'm saying to him like, you feel sleepy, and his answer is, sir, I did not sleep well. If you look at this sentence, sleep, I did not sleep well, this is simple past tense in negative sentence. Simple past tense, negative sentence. But simple past, there's no adverb of past time. But I understand the context that the student is telling me about the yesterday, about the previous night. And I did not sleep well. Therefore, sometimes we need to understand the context of the sentence. Like here, Babur defeated Rana Sanga at Kanwa. We know both these characters, that's Babur and Rana Sanga, they were the kings, they were the historical figures, and they fought a battle at a place called Kanwa. We know these things occurred in history. Therefore, here we don't have any adverb of past time. Still, here the meaning it's implied, the context, the tense, it's implied. That's why we use simple past tense. And the next one, we use this simple past tense to express past facts. We use the simple past to express past facts, like the First World War broke out in 1947. Sorry, it's 1914. 1914, or for that matter, India got independence in 1947, or there was a terrible cyclone in Andhra Pradesh in 1980. That's a historical fact. Okay, we use this simple past to express past facts. And the next one is simple past is also used for habitual actions, but to be more exact, discontinued habitual actions or discontinued habits. We use this simple past for discontinued habits, like she always carried an umbrella. Or for that matter, she used to talk about films. Now, it is something which she was fond of in past, but right now she's not doing the same things. That's why we use this simple past for past discontinued habits. For example, he used to smoke heavily, or right now he's not smoking, okay? And for the next one, we use this simple past tense for narration, or for in order to narrate stories. Look here. Once upon a time, there was a king who ruled a huge kingdom. He had 7 sons and only 1 daughter. The princess was beautiful and kind. Everybody loved her. One day a witch came into the palace. If you look here, we have the verb like was, ruled, had, was, loved, came. All these verbs, they are in verb in second forms. Although was, it's a helping verb, but here in this sentence, it acts as a main verb. And likewise had, it's a helping verb. We often make use of this helping verb in past perfect tense, but here in this sentence, it's not followed by any other verb. Therefore, this had is a main verb. This verb in second form. Now, when we narrate stories, we often make use of this simple past tense. Okay, the next one is the past continuous tense. When a tense is used to show that an action was continuous or incomplete or in progress in the past, it's known as past continuous tense. That's why we call it past and continuous. When we talk about an action that was in progress in past or incomplete in past, we call it past continuous tense. And its structures are subject plus was, were, plus verb in ing form plus other words. And how we make negative sentence, it is subject plus was, verb plus not plus verb in ing form plus other words. And how we make questions, that two helping verb, which like was, were plus subject plus verb in first form plus ing plus other words. And now the question arises, how we make WH question? Just add WH before helping verbs. Like in the third structure, it's was, were. Start the sentence with WH. It will become WH question. Okay. Now, we use this tense to express or to talk about an action that was in progress in past, or that was incomplete in past, or that was continuous in past. Like here in sentences, the light went out when I was reading. If you look at this sentence, here we have two clauses, and the first clause is the light went out. The first clause, it's in simple past tense because went out, it's verb in second form. And in the second clause, I was reading, it is simple past tense. It's past continuous tense. Here we have two clauses. That means we have two actions. And the first action, if you look at the first action, it's completed. Okay, that's why we use verb in second form, that's went out. And the second one, it was continuous. The light went out when I was reading. That means when I was reading, the light went out. The light went out, it shows the completion of an action. And I was reading, it means something which was in progress in past, which was incomplete, or which was continuous in past. That's why we say, we use this tense to show an action that was continuous or in progress or incomplete in the past. Or the next one, when I reached home, my brother was playing chess. Here again we have two actions. The first one, it's complete. When I reach home, it gives the idea or the sense of completion. But look at the second one, it shows something was in progress, or something was continuous, or something was incomplete. And what was that something? That was my brother was playing chess. And the next one, I was waiting for the cab when I met John. Here again we have two actions. The first one, it was in progress, it was continuous. And the second one, it was complete. Now here, the children were shouting when the teacher came in. The children were shouting when the teacher came in. Again, we have teacher came in. It gives the idea of compulsion. And the second one, the children were shouting. It means when the teacher entered into the class, children were shouting. Their shouting was continuous. Their shouting was in progress. Their shouting was incomplete, which we call past continuous tense. And this past continuous tense, we use this past continuous tense with second conditional clause in order to express a polite request. Like here, I was wondering if I could use your laptop. We use this simple past tense with second conditional clause in order to make a request more polite. Like here, I was wondering if I could use your laptop. If you look at the first clause, it is here past continuous tense. And the class, it's a second conditional class. And the next one is the past perfect. When a tense is used to describe an action completed before a certain moment or action in the past, it's known as past perfect tense. Now, for example, if I draw a graph, here it's 2024. Now look at this sentence. I will try to make you understand this tense with the help of this tense, this sentence. 2024, everyone knows that it's a present. And here, 2020, it's past. And what's our sentence? I met him in Delhi in 2020. I had seen him 4 years before. That means I met him in 2020. But I had seen him 4 years before. That means it means 2016. It means I had met him 2016, and then I met him in 2020. Now remember, when you find that two actions had been completed in the past, you need to see which action had been completed at first. And with that first action, you have to use past perfect tense. And with the second action, you have to use simple past tense. We often use these two tenses together. That means the simple past and the past perfect. Simple past for the second action and the past perfect for the first action. That's why we say when a tense is used to describe an action completed before a certain moment or action in the past, we call it past perfect tenses. Now here, look at the picture. When I met him in Delhi. If you look at the sentence, this is subject plus verb in second form. This is simple past tense. As I told you that whenever a sentence ends with adverb of past time, and that adverb of past time, it's not preceded by since and for, like here 2020. It's adverb of past time. And this adverb of past time, it's not preceded by since and for. Therefore, I have to use simple past tense. That's why met is verb in second form. Now look at the second one. I had seen him 4 years before. That means 4 years before 2020, 4 years before 2020, which means 2016. That means the first day I had seen him in 2016. And then I met him in 2020 again. Therefore, the first one is 2016, and with 2016, I have to use past perfect tense. And the second, and I met him second time in 2020, and second time with the second action, I have to use simple past tense. That's why I met him in Delhi in 2020. I had seen him 4 years before. 4 years before, that means 2020, 4 years before, which means 2016. Remember, if you find that two actions, they were completed in the past, you need to see which one had been completed first. And with first action, you have to use past perfect tense, and with the second action, you have to use simple past tense. That's why, for example, here, now look here, I had done my exercise when Ram came to see me. Again, here we have two tenses. The first one is past perfect, and the second one is simple past. Ram, this is subject followed by verb in second form, that's came. Now here, again we have two actions. you need to see which action had been completed first. That is, I had done my exercise. I had done my exercise when Ram came to see me. In other words, he had done his exercise before Ram came to see him. Here we have two actions. Both these two actions had been completed in past. But you need to see which one has been performed first. And this is the I had done my exercise where Ram came to see me. And the next one, I had written the letter before he arrived. I had written the letter. That means the first, she had written the letter. And with the first action, we use past perfect. And the second action, we have to use simple past tense. Or there's another way. For example, if I say, when I reached the station, the train had left. When I reached the station, the train had left. When I say the train had left, that means it gives the sense that I was late. Train had left. This is the first action. And then I arrived at the station. And here, remember, when a tense is used to describe an action completed before a certain moment or certain action in past, we call it past perfect tense. And then we have the next one, and that is past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense is used for an action that began before a certain point in the past and continued up to that point. Now here, look at the first example. I will try to draw a graph in order to make you understand this past perfect continuous tense. For example, if this is the graph and this is 2024, that means the present. What is the sentence? Where Ram came to college in 1995. 1995, this is past time. And what is the next one? Sham had already been teaching there for 5 years. 5 years, that means go back 5 years, it means 1990. That means Ram joined college in 1990. But when Ram joined college in 1995, Sham had been working there for 5 years. It means that Sham had joined this college in the year 1990. And the 1990, it is the first action. It precedes 1995. Therefore, the first action, you have to express that first action in past perfect tense. That's why we say, when Ram came to the college in 1995, Sham had already been teaching there for 5 years. That means Sham had started working there in 1990. And the 1999 is the first action. It comes before 1995. And the first action you have to express in past perfect. But here there's one more point. Although the Sham, he had joined this college in 1990, but in 91 he was working there. 92 he was working there. 93 he was continuously working there, and 94 he was continuously working there, and 95 he was continuously working there when Ram joined the college. But he had completed his 5 years of teaching there in 1995. That's why we call it completion, because the 5 years have been completed. His 5 years of teaching had been completed in the year 1995. That's why we call it perfect, because the perfect gives the idea of completion. And one more thing, there's another way of saying the same thing. For example, if you look at the first class, that is when Ram came to the college in 1995. As I told you that whenever a sentence ends with adverbs of past time, it can be last year, it can be a week ago, it can be yesterday, it can be a week ago, or it can be any date, for example, 1947 or 1995. And these adverbs of past time, they are not preceded by since and for. There you have to use simple past tense, like in the first class. Ram is the subject, third person singular, and came, its verb in second form. Its verb in second form. When Ram came to college in 1995, Sham had already been teaching there for 5 years. It means you have to subtract 5 years from 1995 and you will get the date when Sham had joined the college. That means 1990. As I told you, with first action we use past perfect, and with the second we use simple past. But here you need to understand one more thing, that's the continuous. And this action, the working of Sham in the college remained continuous from 1990 to 1995. That's why we call it continuous. And there's one more. When I reached home at 9 p.m., my sister had been reading novel for 3 hours. Okay. And there's one more. Again, here we have I subject reach this verb in second form. And this 9 p.m. it's the past adverb of past time and it's not preceded by since and for. That's why simple past tense. And now the next one. My sister, this is subject plus had plus been plus reading. That is past perfect continuous tense. My sister had been reading the novel for 3 hours. For example, it's 9. It means that she had started her reading before 9, 3 hours before 9. That means the 6. At 6, she had started reading, and 7, she was reading. 8, she was reading. At 9, she was also reading, but her 3 hours of reading had been completed at 9. That's why we use past perfect continuous tense. And the next one, he has been bleeding for 20 minutes. When police found him, he had been bleeding for 20 minutes and police found him. Again, there we have 2 classes, and the one class it's in simple past and the second one it's in past perfect tense. And then we have the simple future tense. When a tense is used to show what will happen in future, it's known as simple future tense. Simple future tense, here we talk about the future actions. That's why we say when a tense is used to show what will happen in future, we use simple future tense, like here. And one more thing, simple future tense, it's used to express pure future. Pure future means something which will surely occur in future, or which we can't postpone, or which we can't deny or defy, or which will happen anyway in future. We call it pure future. And here, look at the sentence, Sham will be 20 next year. That means this year in 2024, Sham is 19. And in 2025, surely, definitely he will be 20. Okay, it's something which Sham can't defy, postpone, deny, or stop. It's something which will surely occur in future. That's why we call it pure future. Sham will be 20 next year. It means at present in 2024 he is 19 and in 2025 he will be 20. It's something which he can't postpone, which he can't stop. Okay, that's why we call it pure future. Our exam will be held in March. And the next one is, this tense is used to talk about what we think or believe happen in future. Sometimes, for example, we think or believe that this thing will happen in future. In that case, we can also use this simple future tense. Like here, I think India will win the match. For example, right now, I'm watching a match along with my brother. And this match, we're watching this match on TV, and it's 2020, for example, match. And match right now, it's in 10th over. It's in 10th over, and there are 10 more hours to go. Okay, and right now I'm telling my brother, I think India will win the match. When the match is in 10th over, there are 10 more hours to go. It's something which I think, or it's something which I believe. That's why we say this tense is used to talk about what we think or believe happen in future. Like, I think India will win the match. Right now, they're playing. It's in the 10th hour. Still, I'm talking about the future. Or for example, I believe John will get the first class. And next one, we have the future continuous tense. And future continuous tense, we use the future continuous tense to talk about actions which will be in progress at some time in future. Here, you need to understand two words. One is the future and the second one is the continuous. Here I am talking about a future event, but that future event which is continuous or which is in progress or which is incomplete. That's why we call it future continuous. An action which will be in progress or which will be continuous or which will be incomplete in future. For example, there's a conversation between A and B. Look at this conversation. Can I see you tomorrow at 7 p.m.? A is telling to B. Can I see you tomorrow at 7 p.m.? B. Please don't come then. I will be watching the cricket match on TV. Now look at here. I will be watching. It is something which will be continuous in future. That's why I will be watching. This is future continuous. And you know the structure of future. It's subject plus will plus shall be plus verb in ing form plus other words. This is future continuous tense. Here, please don't come then. I will be watching the cricket match on TV. That means I will this watching of cricket team on TV. It will be continuous. It will be continuous tomorrow at 7 p.m. For example, this time tomorrow, I will be sitting on the beach in Singapore. It's something I'm talking about the future, but the future action, that future action which is continuous, which will be in progress or which will be incomplete in future. That's why. And the next one, we use this future continuous tense for future planned actions, like we will be meeting, he will be meeting us next week. If you look here, it's again a future continuous tense. And this future continuous tense, I'm talking about the future planned action. It's planned that he will be meeting us next week. Or for that, she will be marrying next month. The postman will be coming soon. Here, all these actions, they are talking about the future planned actions. And then we have the future perfect tense. This future perfect tense is used to talk about actions that will be completed by a certain future time. Here, I'm talking about, for example, if it is present 2024, and I'm talking about 2026 or 2025 future. But here, one thing you need to remember, as I told you that perfect gives the sense of completion. Here, I'm talking about an action that will complete or that will be completed in future at any point in future. For example, by the end of this month, I will have worked here for 5 years. By the end of this month, right now it is July, and right now it's 20th of July. And I'm talking about end of this month. By the end of this month, that's a future. And something will be completed in future. And what's that something? I will have worked here for 5 years. That's why we call it future perfect. By the end of this month, I will have worked here for 5 years. Or the next one, I shall have written my exercise by then. And this future perfect describes an action, will end in the future. The future continuous describes an action that will continue in future. There's only difference between the future perfect tense and future perfect continuous. There's a difference of continuous, okay? And now I will like to recapitulate this one. And this future perfect tense, it talk about action that will be completed by certain future time. Or, there's another way of saying the same thing. For example, here we talk about an action that will be completed at some point in the future. Like here, by the end of this month. Right now it's the 20th of July and I'm talking about the end of this month. By the end of this month, I will have worked here for 5 years. That means the something will complete at some point in the future. And what's that something? My working here. The next one is the future continuous tense. Future perfect continuous tense. The next one is the future perfect continuous tense. The future perfect continuous tense is used for an action which will be in progress over a period of time that will end in the future. There's only one difference between future perfect and future perfect continuous, and that's the difference of continuous. In future perfect, we talk about an action that will be completed at some point in the future. But here we talk about an action that will remain continuous up to a certain point in the future, and surely then that action will complete at that point. For example, by the next December, I shall have been living here for 4 years. Or next year, I will have been working here for 2 years. Again, this is future perfect continuous tense. In future perfect continuous, we have subject plus shall or will plus have plus been plus verb in ing form. Here, next year, I will have been working here for 2 years. Here, I lay stress on the continuity of action. That means the action will remain continuous at some point in the future, and thereafter that action will complete at that point in the future. That's why we call it future perfect continuous tense. I will have been waiting here for 3 hours by 6 o'clock. Or by 2024, I will have been living in Hyderabad for 2 years. 2025, I will have been living in Hyderabad for 2 years. Like here from this picture, you can see the difference between the future perfect and future perfect continuous tense. In the first tense, in the first picture, it's the future perfect. You will have worked for 8 hours by 5 p.m. And now the next one, you will have been working for 8 hours by 5 p.m. There's only the difference of one thing, and that is the continuity. In the second slide or the second picture, we laid the stress on the continuity of the action. It was all about the tenses. Hope you have understood this. We will meet in another video lecture with another topic. Till then, goodbye.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.